just having a conversation with someone on TikTok, and I thought it was a very interesting perspective. It's another disabled person, another disabled woman, and they shared with me on a comment on another video about watching other content creators, watching other disabled content creators, and thinking, oh, their experience is very different to mine. They can do a lot more than me. That she felt that way about my content, and it was really strange looking back from my videos with that perspective, trying to understand. But of course, I can see I share my opinions and stuff, and I'm often in bed, but I'm often sat up or propped up. I use this light thing on my phone, so most of the time I'm in the dark, which is supposed to be quite flattering. And then I share like fit checks, but you might notice it's only once a week, or maybe more than once a week. Literally one time, I think one of the last times I shared a fit check, I went to the supermarket, and then with my friend, and then we spent 2 hours together, and I had to ask them to leave. And I thought, even the days when I share my worst days, my big flares, those days, I suppose it's just me. It's just, you can't physically see that. You can't physically see what I'm going through. I was on the phone, on a FaceTime call to my friend the other night, and I'd realised that they'd never seen me at my worst either. I was doing a little bit of housework. I put some laundry out, and then I rested. I sat down and rested. Did the laundry, sat down on the floor, and then I walked upstairs, and then I tried to remake my bed, not remake the sheets, but remake my bed, neaten it properly. Halfway through, it got too much for me, and I had to throw everything out of the bin that's next to my bed and start retching in it, and I had to hang up on my friend so I could vomit, which is presyncope from POTS. And then the other thing I share is the tattoos that I've been getting to cover my self-harm scars. So I had a tattoo today, and I will post about it, and it will be positive. But what you don't see, I suppose, is that I have MCAS attack that I don't really talk about that much because I'm not officially diagnosed with that, but I have all these symptoms. Tattoos always give me an ME flare. I found it really, really hard to get there this morning. Obviously, tattoos, you put a deposit down. My tattoo artist's, rightly so, very expensive, and my deposits are very expensive. I've had to cancel a few already. So I forced myself to go. I was really, really tired today. You won't see that. And it's not relevant to the tattoo, so I wouldn't share that. And then I was looking at one of my videos that I did share a kind of really vulnerable moment when I was groaning in pain when I had flu. But I often don't. I'm in pain right now, and I often don't call out in pain. And this is another thing about chronic pain and invisible pain, is that, so when I was doing my PhD, I was studying bereavement experience, which is a type of pain. Grief, well, not necessarily, but grief is a type of pain. And I read a book about invisible pain. It was talking about physical pain and how what's happening, anthropologically speaking, is that when we share experiences with each other, when we talk to each other, we are creating something called intersubjectivity. We're creating a space where we both share the understanding of reality through the sharing of communication through language. And we use language to find commonality, to be able to share that experience and be on the same page, basically. We use shared cultural narratives. We use physical objects in the world to use in language that we can then to explain the experience we want to share with the other person. When people are in acute pain and experiencing acute pain, think, for instance, a child's falling off their bike and they've broken their arm, they're probably screaming, language goes out the window, and it becomes just a noise, which is animalistic, and we all understand what that means. We all understand that means physical pain, and it's not necessarily a type of pain. When you're in chronic pain, your body adjusts to it, your brain adjusts to living in it. Whatever your experience is, you, you deal with a process of pain. I used to say like my endometriosis pain was like going into shock, and that if I was in enough pain, I could kind of come out the other side of it, and it's almost like I disassociated through it, and that was how I coped. My body protected me, my brain protected me from that pain. I'm in pain right now, and I'm in pain so much that it's not worth sharing with, but it's also not worth expressing for my own self either. So I don't talk about it and I don't point it out. So when I'm sharing vulnerable moments online, regardless of what I've written down, it's not something, it's not a shared reality I'm having with someone else. It's not a shared experience that we're both engaging in, that we can both understand, because my pain isn't visible, but I'm not using language to describe it. For instance, stabbing pain feels like a knife has been cut into me. For, loads of things I can't say on TikTok probably. So right now, so I can describe my day today, which was, like I say, I was really tired. As soon as I got up, I was really, really dizzy. I've been trying these new beta blockers for my POTS. I often can't stand for more than a minute before I get nauseous. And I would say I probably have 3 to 7 minutes before I start vomiting, which means I can barely do anything. My friend came to babysit. She came up the stairs because she knows I spend all my time in my bedroom. Then I asked my son to get my toothbrush so I didn't have to stand up, and I brushed my teeth in bed. I'd already had a bath because I wake up soaked in sweat. Often when my body's too physically tired to scrub myself, I use Dettol in the bath. It kills bacteria. At this moment, my arms ache when I move them upwards. The muscle behind like my arm and my all over my back are aching right deep into the bone. My hips feel separated from my femurs and feel like they're floating around. And I've been sat here trying to get the energy up to go and wash this tattoo because I've had the cling film on for 4 hours more than I should have done. I've got a headache. I think that's from a lack of oxygen in the blood that's in my head. And I've been breathless all day because of my POTS, and I've got brain fog. It's just interesting what I'm sharing and what other people might perceive is so different to each other. And I guess it's what people expect health to look like or not being healthy to look like. I suppose if I'm smiling and prancing around the front door in a little outfit and you see that snapshot as some kind of proof of reality. But I don't think we want to be seen as incapable to say what people right. But at the same time, we want people to understand our experience and our pain. It's deeply invalidating. But then, even in the worst moments, not even another person that experiences the same life as me can understand my pain, because we have no tangible or culturally shared narrative to be able to share this space of understanding. Anyway, nerd thought. If you like my nerd shit, follow me on YouTube because I do intend to talk more nerd shit. Okay, bye.